Organized of 3 women. The Paul's organized of 3 women living in a fishing village in Montego Bay, and the fishing village is about to be taken over by a huge resort. So it's really how they survive that. So now we also talks into identity, belonging, displacement, sexuality, and race, class. And the first daughter who we'll meet here is Tandy, who everybody places their dream on Tandy, and their goal for her is to be a doctor, but Tandy has other dreams. She wants to be an artist, and she sees another way of upward mobility, which is bleaching her skin. So here's a scene where she's sitting in this ruby shack, and let me start from the beginning. I used to be black like you, but now look at me. Miss Ruby turns her head from side to side for Tandy to see her salmon-colored skin, delicate with the texture of scalded milk. See how bright my skin come? If you follow instructions, yours will get this way quicker. Now that you're the queen of pearl, you might be lucky. If you want faster results, use it twice a day. She rubs the concoction up and down Tandy's neck, back, arms, and shoulders. She rubs everywhere but her butt crack. Miss Ruby is hardly tender. Tandy wonders if Miss Ruby's roughness is punishment for not having followed her early instructions. She imagines her blackness peeling off. The hydrogen peroxide Miss Ruby pours into the mixture, acting like an abrasive, a medicine for her melancholy. She closes her eyes as the warm formula touches her skin. Miss Ruby works her way to Tandy's chest. The circular motion of a stranger's hands on her breast makes Tandy blush. She has never been touched this way. She opens her eyes and searches for something, anything, that can take her mind off the sensation of this strange woman's fingers. She imagines herself as a fish Miss Ruby rubs with salt and vinegar before frying. Her eyes find the ceiling. Had she been able to lift her arms, she would trace the things she sees projected from her mind. Luckily you have good hair already, Miss Ruby says. Good coolie hair. Is that Eva Indian? No, I don't know, Tandy says, still staring up at the plants in the ceiling. Never met him. Well, God played a cruel joke on you, because child, if his skin was as pretty as your hair, you'd be one gorgeous woman. Miss Ruby isn't saying anything Tandy hasn't heard before. Her mother says the same thing often, shaking her head the way she does over burned food that has to go to waste. It's a pity you never have skin like your daddy. Tandy's neither the nutmeg brown that makes her sister Margot an honorable mistress, a rung lower than the bright-skinned wife. Nor is she black like her mother Dolores, whose skin makes people sympathetic when they see her. Who wants to be black like that in this place? Miss Ruby once said to Tandy about her mother. Miss Ruby gives Tandy the homemade mixture in a jar for her to apply as needed. Only as needed, she stresses. These are very strong chemicals that could kill you. She then reaches for the saran wrap and begins to wrap Tandy's arms and torso. A mummified Tandy sits and listens to Miss Ruby's instruction. If you want to come quicker, leave on the plastic. Don't wash, don't go in the sun. If you have to go in the sun for whatever reason, make sure so you come up at all times from head to toe. If you start to feel like you want faint, just drink water. It makes you sweat more. Whatever you do, now take off the plastic and remember, stay out of that sun. Miss Ruby repeats these words like an ominous warning, her eyes pouring into Tandy's. Tandy listens and nods, though she wants to rip the saran wrap off and jump into the river. She imagines her skin boiling, becoming molten liquid underneath the plastic wrap. Do I have to wear this at all times? Tandy asks. Heat and sweat is the advantage, just bear it, Miss Ruby says, stamping her with a look. Tandy regrets saying anything, sensing her complaints might be interpreted as her wanting less out of life. Less opportunity, less chance of attracting the type of boys her mother and sister want her to attract. The type who will be at the party for sure. Less chance of acceptance in school. Less chance to flunk school, the only ship on which black girls like her could float. Given that their looks will never do it for them. Her mother tells her this too. The only thing I'm going for you is education. No ruin it. Meanwhile, the unintelligent brownings in school end up with modeling contracts or boyfriends with money they can spend on them. The less attractive ones get jobs in their family businesses. What else does she have to fall back on if she fails the exam besides her drawings? But no one wants those. No one respects an artist. So when Tandy puts her clothes on, she pretends to ignore the crinkling of the plastic under her uniform and the nausea that comes over her. Miss Ruby examines her skin, her eyes like a sharp razor raking over Tandy's body, as though looking for areas she might have missed. Dark patches that need to be scrubbed down with the rig of someone scouring the bottom of a burnt pot. Or the way she used to scale fish, her dark eyes having them a subtle hostility that reminds Tandy of the way the girls and nuns at school look at her. Can she tell Tandy doesn't belong? Can she sniff her deceit? Perhaps in that moment, Tandy reminds her of someone who did her wrong, or of herself, the way she looked before she bleached her skin. How suddenly her mood changes once Tandy pays her the money. Remember to stay out of that sun like I tell you, Miss Ruby says, because you and I both know God don't like ugly. So that was Tandy's scene, and so here's Margot, Tandy's older sister. Margot will do anything for Tandy. You know, Margot's goal is for Tandy to finish school, become that doctor. And so at night, Margot works as a hotel clerk, but at night she prostitutes herself. So here's an introduction to her character. Margot rolls over, her legs straddling Horace. She pinches his pink flesh between her fingers and watches it turn white. Horace groans and smiles up at her through drooping eyelids. Had she been attracted to him, she would have kissed the place on his cheeks, where his long lashes touched, and placed her lips on top of his puckered ones. She would have even had the patience to lie beside him beforehand, and run her fingers over the hairs on his enormous chest and belly. Instead, she mounts him and moves her hips steadily, rhythmically. His hands grip her thighs before moving to her breasts. In sex, she finds a deep calm, a refuge in which she hides. She imagines herself as a vacuum, inhaling everything, every word, every thought, every glance, every tear. Then all disappear, out of sight, only to be emptied behind the hotel like balls of dust the maids throw into big bins while humming their familiar sad songs that Margot used to hear her grandmother hum. As a little girl, she knew the sorrows in those songs, but felt immune to the pain in them. She knew already that helplessness is weak and that there's no use in having faith in God. God is not the one to put food on the table or send her sister to school, and God is certainly not the one keeping the roof over their heads. She sways high above Horace like a palm tree in a cool breeze as he whispers his gratitude, sometimes cursing her with expletives that cause her to throw her head back and pick up speed. His head is small and inconspicuous from where she sits. There are moments when another person comes to mind, feminine lips parting, hungry for more than Margot's body. The person's eyes are steady on hers. Margot knows those eyes. They plead with her, so she concentrates instead on the unremarkable man's head below her. She rocks and sways, aware of the creeping chaos, the sensation that spreads from her groin all the way to his curled toes, as though her orgasm has possessed his body too. When it's all over, Margot spirals down and down, crashing like a big tree uprooted by nature's merciless axe. She lies next to Horace, post-coital disgust, and a lurking disappointment coiling in her belly like days old milk. She's human again. And finally, Dolores, who's the mother in this novel. And I won't really tell you what's going on with Dolores. You'll hear it in our dialogue. But really, she's trying to convince her daughter of something. I won't say what that is yet. I don't until you buy the book and you will read and see. So, here's Dolores. Dolores comes close to Tandy, her arms open, as if to embrace her. Tandy's prepared to rest her head against her mother's big breasts. She's ready to drop her shoulders and let her mother rub them. Tell her that it will be all right, that Clover got what he deserved. The embrace is a sweet one Tandy had forgotten until now. Her mother's love is as vicious and domineering as her personality. Once it's felt, there's none other like it. Tandy relaxes in Dolores' embrace, allowing herself to be rocked back and forth like a baby. But then it's cut short. Slowly, Dolores pries Tandy off her and holds her at arm's length. I want you to come to your senses and turn that boy in. Everything happened for a reason, and that was it, Dolores says. Do it for all of it, Tandy. He was defending me, Tandy says. The devil is a liar. He kick you down, but it don't mean you can't get back up and use the tool he give you. What Clover did is history, something long gone. So put it behind you and do the right thing. It means a brute mama, shush. They won't pay for cursing the dead. Dolores pulls Tandy closer again and rocks her in her bosom. She smells like the green banana she sliced up. She runs her fingers through Tandy's hair as she speaks. You and that boy Charles shouldn't mix in the first place. As I said, if you go pick up with a street boy, then you must at least get something out of it. Forget what Clover did. That won't set you free. Enough people it happened to and it didn't kill them. What will set you free is money. Don't someone ever teach you that. I send you to school for good reasons, yes? But it's also for you to learn common sense. You think because Charles said love you, that you worth something? You think because he said want you, that he mean it? That is not wanting him after when he gets it wrong. What is this love, eh? You don't know nothing about no love. Love is foolish. You ever see love put running water in a pipe? You ever see love build a roof over your head? You ever see love giving free education to those children whose parents can't afford school fee? You ever see love fill up the cupboard? You ever see love handle visas so we can go anywhere far from this rat hole? What can love do for you, eh? How you want to love a stranger when you don't even know what love is? It will just take advantage of you and walk away. You have to get your return in dollars, not cents. And besides, who won't want a naive girl like you, eh? But suppose you didn't really want you. Could you really love someone who is an absolute fool when it comes down to these things? Somebody who's green? You don't want that, and neither would he. You're giving him everything for free. Boys like stupid girls like that. They take one look at your black face and know you're desperate to spread your legs at the first compliment. They see your true color before you tell them your name. They know they can tell you anything and your black self believe it and accept it. Because we're so used to getting the leftovers. Who you know really love a black girl for more than what's between our legs? You're a pretty black girl, but it's my duty as a mother to teach you these things. Put something in your head, child. You know how much you could get? 10,000 US dollars. That can take you from here to eternity. Pay for your education and everything. Use your head, child. You can't place more value on this boy and his foolish love over money. If it means so little to you, then you lose everything. Remember this, nobody loves a black girl, not even ourselves. Now get up and get your pay. That's it, thank you.